Memorial Day, the unofficial kickoff to summer, and in 2019, as plans were being made to enjoy that warm, sunny weather, water was surging toward Fort Smith for what would become a record-breaking flood.
Yeah, remember that? 5 News reporter Ian Taylor joins us to talk about those who experienced that historic flood firsthand 3 years ago.
This all started with reports of possible flooding along the Arkansas River. As time went on, the water kept rising. I spoke to officials and residents who experienced the flood firsthand and what it's like 3 years later.
There's nothing you can do. We had 36 hours to take our things out.
Eileen and John Teagle remember getting the warning that flood water would reach their home. It's a reality 238 other families faced alongside them, and officials say there could have been more.
We were able to see the crest was almost 41. It was about 40.9 feet that we actually experienced, and if it would have got to 42 feet, we would have had almost doubled the homes that was damaged.
Days of rainfall in southern Kansas and northern Oklahoma filled the river and its tributaries.
The amount of rain that fell in those areas for the month of May was about 200 to 400% of what we would normally see in a typical May for that part of the country.
As the rain fell, the Army Corps of Engineers let water out of Keystone and Ten Killer Lakes. Slowly but surely, that water made its way down the Arkansas River and into Fort Smith. At the Van Buren Gauge, the Arkansas River typically sits within its banks between 17 and 22 feet. At 22 feet, the river is in a minor flood stage. By 26 feet, moderate. By 32 feet, major flooding is expected. The nearly 41-foot crest in 2019 shattered the previous record of 38.1 feet, set in 1945.
Mother Nature bats last, and that nothing could be more true.
As the water crested, hundreds of homeowners knew their homes were at the mercy of Mother Nature.
You know, it's just a situation where there's nothing you can do. I mean, you're just sitting there thinking about, how soon is it going to get out? Did we get everything out?
As the water receded, homeowners in Fort Smith and throughout the River Valley returned home to assess the damage.
Oh, we had to gut the house, upstairs and downstairs. We had to take it all the way back to the studs. All of our heating air units are gone, all the plumbing cabinets, everything else. So we had to take everything to first floor and second floor back to the studs and rebuild it.
Just down the road, the Teagles had less water damage, but 3 years later, scars from that week in May 2019 remain.
We kept that water line. We never touched our garage door on the inside, and we preserved it so that we will always remember. In our garage, it's probably about 15 inches tall, and our neighbors decided to keep that on their
fence
so that we will not forget.
More than anything, they won't forget the resilience of their neighbors and the spirit of their community.
The flood of 2019 did show Fort Smith at its best, of people caring, coming together, wanting to help.
It is a city that cares. It truly is a very helpful and concerned city for the needs of its community. And we saw it. We felt it. We are recipients of it, and we're grateful to be in this community.
3 years later, there are still homes and parts of Fort Smith that are being repaired in the areas most hard hit. The financial burden has taken its toll on residents in the city alike. This time of year, people are still anxious about the possibility of flooding. The city and its residents say they've taken measures to mitigate the risk. In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Ian Taylor, 5 News.
And here's some more of that devastating video from Sky 5 that we shot 3 years ago of the historic river flooding.
Feels like yesterday, doesn't it?
This was exactly, and
wow.
It was just everywhere. We're talking from Moffett through the east part of Fort Smith to downtown Fort Smith to along the riverfront in Fort Smith. I mean, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And it was the closest I'd ever seen water get to the Marshals Museum within a couple of feet. And then, of course, every time it rains, it seems like the Harry Kelly Park floods out.
Sure.
But that was just massively underwater, and even that's right along Rogers Avenue.
You remember, though, people were walking across the Garrison Avenue Bridge to get a look at it because it turned into a pedestrian bridge at that point because they shut down traffic for weeks. Wow,
it was amazing. Let's
intense.
hope we don't ever have to do that again for a long, long time.